If I asked you what it takes to succeed, what would you say? You would probably talk about hard work, endless hustle, or perhaps a stroke of luck. Society has taught you to burn yourself out chasing money. That is the greatest lie ever told. Millions of men work themselves into an early grave and still die broke. The titans of industry knew a secret that the masses refused to believe. They understood that wealth is not chased. Wealth is magnetized. It is the natural byproduct of a mind operating on a specific and disciplined frequency. You feel tired in a way that sleep does not fix. That is the most important sentence you will hear today, and most men spend their entire lives never understanding what it actually means. You work hard every single day. You read the books, you set your goals, and you put in the hours while the rest of the world sleeps. Yet, the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels as though you are driving with the emergency brake pulled tight all the time. I am here to tell you that this is not your fault. You do not have a motivation problem. You have a programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your subconscious mind, there is an outdated script running on a loop, quietly sabotaging every conscious step you take toward wealth and peace. Until you rewrite that script, every empire you try to build will collapse under the weight of your unseen fears. You are fighting against yourself without even knowing it. There is an ancient blueprint designed to override this mental sabotage. Thousands of years ago, a master of wisdom recorded a specific code for human destiny. He wrote, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Most people read those words and think of mere emotion. They miss the entire mechanism. Your heart is the command center of your reality. It is the operating system that dictates every single result you experience in the physical world. When your inner code is corrupted by doubt, scarcity, and fear, your external reality matches that chaos perfectly. You can change your job, your city, or your circle of friends, but nothing will truly shift until you upgrade the foundation. The Ancestral Code demands absolute vigilance over your mental inputs. It requires you to stop feeding the invisible enemy that lives inside your own head. You must become the guardian of your own thoughts. Most men drift through life letting the external environment write their mental scripts. They react to bills, opinions, and obstacles as if they have no power. That is the path of the drifter. But you are watching this because you refuse to remain a victim of circumstance. You feel the pull towards something much higher. You sense that your true potential has been locked behind a door you do not yet know how to open. Today, we are going to unlock that door together. We are going to examine the exact mechanics of this ancestral wisdom. You will discover why your past efforts failed and how to install a brand new mental framework that makes success inevitable. Do not look away from this truth. The journey to true dominion begins right here in the quiet discipline of your own awareness. Stay with me as we lay down the first law of your transformation. Think about the thoughts you carried with you throughout the past week. Were they thoughts of expansion, power, and certainty? Or were they whispers of lack, worry, and defeat? Your subconscious mind does not judge the quality of your thoughts. It simply accepts them as orders and executes them with terrifying precision. If you feed it anxiety, it manufactures obstacles. If you feed it clarity, it clears the path before your feet even touch the ground. This is why the Ancestral Code places such immense weight on the guard duty of the mind. You cannot afford to let every passing emotion pitch a tent inside your consciousness. A king does not allow just anyone to enter his treasury. You must treat your attention as your most sacred currency. Every time you entertain a destructive doubt, you are paying a toll to your own limitation. You are funding your own captivity. Let us make this plain. The reason your bank account looks the way it does is not because the economy is harsh or because opportunity passed you by. It is because your internal frequency has been broadcasting a signal of struggle. The universe does not negotiate with your verbal wishes. It responds exclusively to the dominant emotional frequency of your innermost beliefs. Until that frequency changes, you will remain trapped in the exact same loops year after year. You have felt this frustration growing louder lately. It is the voice of your higher self screaming for release against the cage of your old habits. That discomfort is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are outgrowing your current container. The old version of you is dying, and the pressure you feel right now is the birth pain of the commander you were always meant to become. Listen closely to what this means for your daily existence. Every challenge you face is a mirror reflecting the hidden structure of your beliefs back to you. When you change the mirror, the reflection has no choice but to transform. You are about to learn how to rewrite the code at its deepest level. We are going to strip away the noise of modern distraction and return to the timeless laws that built empires. How did a man with no education and no money build the largest steel empire in human history? It was not luck. He used a specific mental protocol that you can replicate tonight. This protocol begins with understanding the ancient law of the heart. The Titans knew that the heart mentioned in the ancestral code is actually your subconscious mind, and they used it to command their reality. It is the absolute engine of your physical world. The text says to keep thy heart with all diligence. What does keep actually mean? It means to guard it like a fortress under siege. You are a mental gatekeeper. Your subconscious mind is a tireless and obedient contractor, and it will build exactly what you instruct it to construct right before you go to sleep. If you let negative thoughts slip past the gate, the contractor builds a life of absolute misery. You must monitor the gate, for out of it are the issues of life. This is the second half of the ancient code. The issues of life are the literal circumstances you face every single day. Your bank account, your relationships, your health, and your stress levels all flow outward from the internal state of your mind. The universe works by precise law, not by a random clock. It reflects the exact blueprint you have authorized. Let us look at the contrast between two types of men. There are two kinds of men in this world. The consumer is a man who lets society dictate his ultimate fate, while the creator is a man who forces physical reality to bend to his iron will. The first type is the drifter. The drifter is entirely at the mercy of his environment. He wakes up and immediately checks the daily news. The drifter allows his mental gates to remain wide open. He consumes fear, drama, and complaint without a second thought. He thinks he is merely observing the chaos of the world, but he is actually programming his own inevitable failure deep into his nervous system. Drifting is the ultimate enemy. A wrong decision is better than no decision at all. The drifter complains about the harvest while constantly planting poisoned seeds. Now, let me make this plain. The Creator operates on a completely different frequency. He is the architect of destiny. He deeply understands that every single thought is a seed, every daily action is water, and his physical reality is the inevitable harvest of his mind. He guards his mental fortress with absolute ruthlessness. The Creator does not watch the news to see how the world is doing. He decides how his world will be. Understand this profound truth. Your mind is sacred territory. The ancient masters understood that if an invading enemy wanted to completely destroy a fortified city, they first had to poison the fresh water supply. Your attention is the water supply of your life. When you entertain thoughts of inadequacy, you are poisoning your own well. The Creator purifies his water daily. He refuses to drink from the cup of mass panic. How does this law manifest in the physical world? The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a real threat and an imagined fear. If you dwell on poverty, your mind accepts poverty as the ultimate goal. It will literally organize your daily behavior to keep you poor because it is blindly following the strict orders you gave it through your anxiety. It will make you overlook lucrative opportunities. It will make you sleep in when you should be working. You must elevate yourself to the role of a sovereign commander. A sovereign commander does not negotiate with weakness. When a thought of doubt enters your mind, you do not entertain it. You interrogate it immediately. You demand to know if it serves your ultimate vision, and if it does not, you evict it from your mind without any hesitation. You must be ruthless with your inner dialogue. This is exactly what diligence means. The drifter merely reacts to life. When the economy shifts, he panics. When a client leaves, he despairs. The Creator initiates reality. When a client leaves, the Creator does not panic, but instead he sees a massive clearing for a much better opportunity to take their place. This is not toxic positivity. It is cold calmness. You view external chaos as raw data rather than a personal attack. Where attention goes, energy naturally flows. This is a law as real and unbreakable as gravity. The masses spend their precious energy focusing on what they lack. The master of fate focuses exclusively on what he is currently building. You cannot build a beautiful mansion while staring at a pile of garbage, so you must turn your gaze away from the drifting masses. Your energy is a powerful laser. You must point it at your definite purpose. The transition from drifter to creator requires a painful death. The old version of you must die. The version that complains, seeks sympathy, and waits for permission is obsolete. That weak man cannot enter the new reality, so you must leave him behind in the ashes of your past mistakes. You must step fully into the identity of the 1%. This elite identity is forged in silence. It is proven through daily mental discipline. Keep thy heart with all diligence. This is not a passive suggestion. It is a strict military command. You are at war for your own potential. The weapons formed against you are modern distraction, primal fear, and quiet complacency. Your ultimate shield is your conscious awareness, and when you catch yourself drifting, you must use it to snap back to attention. You must command your focus to return to the mission. The drifter believes that true success is just a matter of time. He thinks if he just waits long enough, his lucky ship will finally come in. The Creator deeply knows that ships do not come in unless you actively build a massive harbor to receive them when they finally arrive. You prepare this space inside your mind. If your mental harbor is full of doubt, wealth will sail past you. It will go to someone who is ready. Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do. You now know the internal mechanism. The drifter will ignore this warning and return to his invisible prison. The Creator will use this ancient law tonight to reshape his future destiny. Which one are you? The choice is not made with your empty words, but rather it is made with the strict focus of your daily attention. That is how you protect your energy. But protecting it is only step one. You have learned the law of the mental gatekeeper. You understand that your internal world creates your external results. But understanding the ancient law is simply not enough. You must see the undeniable proof of how it operates in the physical brain. We must look at the exact science of this powerful transformation so you can build your faith on a solid foundation of logic. Let us examine the evidence. This law is an unstoppable force. You think you are losing your mind because you feel alienated. But here is the real truth that no one will ever tell you. You are not actually losing your mind today. You are simply shedding your old mental programming. Let me explain this paradox to you clearly. This sudden isolation is the undeniable proof that the ancestral code is working inside you. While the drifter panics in the silence, the Creator understands that this empty space is required for massive growth. You feel deep friction because your environment no longer matches your frequency. The drifter panics when his old friends slowly fall away. He thinks he is doing something very wrong. You must clear the land completely before you can pour a massive foundation. The universe is simply making room for your new reality. And when you apply the ancient law with strict diligence, you begin to see exactly how the mechanism actually works. This is not merely spiritual philosophy or vague hope. This is absolute biological fact and undeniable hard science. We must examine the physical structure of human perception. Inside your brainstem sits a powerful filter called the RAS. This mechanism dictates exactly what you see in the physical world. It is the ultimate gatekeeper of your biological brain. While your eyes process millions of bits of data, this tiny filter decides what actually reaches your conscious awareness. Your RAS processes millions of bits of information every single second, but it only lets a tiny fraction reach your conscious mind. How does it decide what gets through the gate? It looks directly at the daily instructions you give it. It follows the exact blueprint of your dominant thoughts and your deepest emotional beliefs. If you constantly worry about debt and failure, Your biological filter will aggressively delete lucrative opportunities from your direct vision. It makes you completely blind to massive wealth sitting right in front of you. It filters out wealth because you ordered it to look for extreme poverty. You commanded your own brain to find deadly threats. The drifter always blames the harsh economy for his lack of financial vision. But when you guard your heart with diligence, you aggressively reprogram this biological filter to hunt for massive abundance and power. You give it a brand new directive to find ultimate victory. Suddenly, you start seeing opportunities that were there the entire time. Your internal biological filter changed its dominant frequency. This is exactly how the 1% manipulate their physical reality. Because they deeply understand the science, the elite never allow negative assumptions to take root in their heavily guarded mental fortress. Let us look to the historic example of Thomas Edison. He was a true master of his mental gatekeeper. When his massive laboratory burned to the ground, he did not weep. He did not curse the universe or play the helpless victim. He watched the massive flames destroy his life work with absolute cold calmness. While the average drifter would have been completely broken by this disaster, Edison viewed the blazing fire as a simple data point. The weak drifter would have quit his mission forever. But Edison simply told his son to go get his mother quickly. He said she would never see a chemical fire this magnificent again. Edison deeply knew that his physical building was completely gone, but his internal blueprint was fully intact and stronger than ever before. He remained the sovereign architect of his own destiny, and he immediately used this obstacle to forge a much greater empire. He had guarded his heart so fiercely that external destruction could not touch his identity. He rebuilt the entire empire much bigger than it was before. This is what it actually means to be an unstoppable force. Your reality is not defined by what happens to you today. It is entirely defined by the exact psychological meaning you consciously assign to every single event that crosses your path. The drifter assigns a meaning of victimhood to every single setback. He tells his subconscious mind that the world is entirely too hard. His RAS immediately goes to work, gathering evidence to prove that he is weak. It will hunt down every pathetic excuse to justify his complete failure. It builds a flawless mental case for his ultimate defeat and poverty. But you are a true creator, and you must fiercely reject that pathetic path before it destroys your entire future. You are the sovereign commander of your own mind. When you face a catastrophic loss, you must assign a meaning of extreme advantage. You must tell your brain that this obstacle is a hidden training ground. Your brain will then instantly hunt for the hidden lesson inside the pain. You are literally wiring brand new neural pathways when you execute this bold command. Because neuroplasticity is a proven biological law, your physical brain actually changes its structure based on your dominant thoughts. Your brain is not a fixed piece of biological hardware. It is living clay that changes shape based on the thoughts you repeatedly think. Every time you aggressively reject a negative thought, your brain physically alters itself. You are carving a massive new channel for wealth to flow through. The masses suffer constantly because their neural pathways are carved by endless and terrifying anxiety. They have practiced fear for so long that their physical brains run the poverty program automatically without any conscious effort. They do not even realize they are broadcasting a constant signal of desperation. You simply cannot outwork a deeply misprogrammed mind. You can hustle blindly for 18 exhausting hours a day. But if your biological filter seeks lack, you will subconsciously destroy your own daily progress. While the weak drifter blames bad luck for losing the massive deal, the creator knows that his own subconscious mind sabotaged the operation. This invisible biological barrier is exactly what has been holding you back. It was never a lack of intelligence or a lack of physical drive. It was always a corrupted operating system running quietly in the dark background. But today you finally hold the exact scientific diagnosis in your own two hands. The deep pain you have been feeling is the death rattle of your old limitations. And because the ancient code is finally waking you up today, you can actually see why your current struggle is a magnificent cosmic gift. The deep friction means your old neural pathways are rapidly breaking apart forever. You are quickly losing your normal taste for average and meaningless daily conversations. This temporary isolation is your initiation into the elite ranks of the true creator. You must bravely embrace this sacred season of mental and physical pruning. While the physical results always take time to finally materialize, the mental shift is the exact moment your destiny changes its entire course. Stay the course and fiercely guard the gate of your mind. We have examined the undeniable science and the history of powerful titans. You now fully know the hidden biological and spiritual mechanism. But mere knowledge without aggressive execution is entirely worthless in this brutal world. Now we must translate this heavy theory into a practical daily weapon. Before you can finally claim your glorious throne, we must forge a specific and rigorous routine to command your physical reality tonight. Now let us make this practical. Theory without brutal execution is a complete delusion. You understand the science of the biological filter. You fully know the ancient mechanism. But how do you actually enforce the ancestral code tonight? The drifter reads a book and goes right back to sleep. The creator builds a relentless system. You must install a sacred ritual to reprogram your subconscious mind. It begins in the dark. I command you to listen to this closely. Your physical brain enters a highly suggestible state right before you fall asleep. This is the exact moment the mental gate is completely wide open. The drifter spends this critical time scrolling through endless negative news. He programs his brain for absolute failure before his head even hits the pillow. You must ruthlessly execute the law of cosmic housekeeping instead. Cut off all digital noise exactly 1 hour before you sleep. You cannot build an empire while consuming the digital trash of the masses. Step 1 of this ritual is the mental purge. You must sweep the temple of your mind. Sit in complete silence and confront the brutal reality of your day. What parasitic thoughts tried to infect you today? Did you let someone else dictate your emotional state this morning? Acknowledge every single breach in your fortress. Then aggressively order those weak thoughts to leave your mind permanently. You are the mental gatekeeper. Say this aloud right now wherever you are. I am the sovereign commander of my mind. Say it until your physical body actually believes the heavy vibration of those words. This is not a game of pretend. This is the literal reprogramming of your reality. You cannot expect a brand new life if you tolerate the exact same weak thoughts. Step 2 is the installation of your definite chief aim. You must possess one singular objective that consumes your entire focus. The drifter has vague wishes for a slightly better life, but the creator writes his massive vision down with violent precision. I want you to define exactly what empire you are building today. You must write it out on physical paper as if it has already been fully accomplished. Read it every single night without fail. As you read the words, you must generate the intense emotion of victory. Your subconscious mind does not understand mere logic. It only responds to the heavy frequency of your dominant emotions. You must aggressively act as if you already wear the crown of the king. Feel the deep relief of having absolute financial dominion. Feel the quiet confidence of a man who fully controls his own fate. This intense feeling is the exact code that programs the tireless contractor inside your head. You must fall asleep inside that exact feeling. While your physical body rests, your subconscious mind works aggressively to build the necessary pathways for your new wealth. But the sacred ritual does not end when the sun comes up. When you open your eyes in the morning, the invisible enemy will try to attack you immediately. Primal fear will try to rush the gates before you even get out of bed. You must wake up and instantly mount the guard. Do not reach for your phone to check the news. You must immediately state your definite chief aim out loud to the universe. Do you want to win in this life? Then I ask you a much more important question today. Are you willing to suffer the pain of absolute discipline? Because the pain of regret is infinitely worse than the pain of focus. The masses want the massive reward without paying the daily tax of mental vigilance. You simply cannot negotiate with the universe. You either guard your heart or you surrender your kingdom. There is no neutral thought. Every single thought is either pushing you forward or pulling you backward. It is either moving you toward freedom or reinforcing your invisible bondage. The man who realizes this begins to treat his thoughts as dangerous tools. You must become completely intolerant of your own internal excuses. The drifter justifies his laziness. The architect of destiny destroys his own illusions. By the end of this week, you will notice a terrifying shift in your physical reality. You will suddenly become allergic to average conversations and weak complaints. Your internal frequency will completely reject the pathetic energy of the drifter. People will say you have changed, and they will be absolutely right. This is exactly how you become an unstoppable force in the physical world. You will begin to see lucrative opportunities where you previously saw only massive roadblocks. This is the biological filter working in your favor, but you must maintain the strict discipline. If you execute this night ritual for just 3 days and then quit, the old corrupted programming will return immediately. The weeds will aggressively overgrow the garden the second the gardener falls asleep. You are locked in a daily war for your own potential. Society is engineered to keep your vibration as low as possible. They want you tired, anxious, and deeply dependent on their system. But when you apply the ancestral code, you sever the chains of that control forever. You literally step out of the matrix of mass panic. You reclaim the sovereign power that was always yours from the very beginning. Close your eyes for just a moment right now. Picture the ultimate version of yourself standing 10 years in the future. Look at his posture and feel his unshakable certainty. He does not worry about the opinions of average men. He does not panic when the external economy shifts. He is a literal magnet for abundance. That man already exists inside you, and he is begging you to take control of the gate today. To become him, you must murder the current version of yourself. You must assassinate the procrastinator and the victim. There is no peaceful transition of power in the mind. You must violently overthrow the old regime of doubt. This is the true meaning of keeping thy heart with all diligence. It requires the absolute destruction of everything that makes you weak. Now comes the ultimate turning point. The time for passive listening is completely over. You have finally absorbed the heavy theoretical knowledge. You fully understand the profound mechanics of your mind. But knowledge without aggressive action is completely worthless in this brutal universe, and you must apply it immediately to claim your throne. You are standing at the edge of a massive cliff right now. You must make a final and absolute decision tonight. You cannot carry the drifter into the new empire. The old and weak version of you must die. The version that complains about the harsh economy must be buried deep in the ground. The man who waits for external motivation is entirely obsolete today. You must violently overthrow the old regime of doubt because it is actively destroying your future, and you cannot afford to waste another single day. Every excuse you have ever made was nothing but a shadow. You blamed your parents, your boss, and your bad luck. You allowed those dark shadows to dictate your reality. You surrendered your mental gate to the invisible enemy while you were distracted by the noise, but tonight you finally take your ultimate power back. You are reclaiming the sovereign throne of your own mind. The world is waiting for a conscious creator to emerge. It is not looking for a perfect version of you. It is looking for a man who deliberately rises above the mental noise. That powerful man is currently sleeping deep inside of you, and it is time to wake him up with a violent and undeniable shock. Stop waiting for a magical savior to rescue you. You must completely become your own powerful savior today. Look directly at the chaos of your current life. How much longer will you tolerate this deep mediocrity? How many more years will you waste running on the exact same exhausting treadmill? The drifter accepts his miserable fate because it is comfortable and familiar to his old programming, while the creator completely rejects anything that limits his expansion. But you feel physically sick when you look at an average life. That sickness is your absolute salvation in this moment. You must say to yourself that this ends right now. No more playing the pathetic victim to random circumstances. No more letting primal fear write the pathetic script of your daily life, because that dark chapter is completely over for you. A brand new chapter begins with one ruthless decision. Hesitation is the literal death of your true destiny. You did not click this message by mere accident. You came here as a man exhausted by the endless drift. You were deeply tired of playing the victim to a system designed to crush you. But today you have finally remembered who you really are, and you realize that you are the sovereign gatekeeper of your own thoughts. You now act entirely independent of weak and temporary motivation. From this night forward, you are a relentless builder. You must stand up right now and claim your crown. You are the architect of your reality, and the world has absolutely no choice but to bend to your disciplined mind. This is not cheap arrogance or foolish pride. This is the absolute certainty of the ancient code. You command your internal frequency, and the world obeys. There are two distinct paths sitting in front of you. You can close this screen and return to your misery. You can go back to sleep and let the contractor build absolute poverty. Or you can step boldly into the terrifying light of absolute responsibility, and you can forge yourself into an unstoppable force of nature. The second path requires incredible pain and strict discipline. The drifter will turn away because the truth is heavy. But I deeply know you will not turn away from this fire. You are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. This massive transformation demands a sacred vow from you today, because you must draw a heavy line in the sand tonight to separate your past from your future. You must sign a binding contract with your potential. Do not let this moment fade into the meaningless noise. The subconscious mind requires relentless repetition to build a brand new world. Therefore, I absolutely command you to listen to this lesson again and again. Play it while you sleep and while you work, because you must make these ancient principles the only voice you tolerate inside your head. You must actively brainwash yourself for massive success. If you do not completely brainwash yourself, the world will happily do it for you. Protect your mental fortress with everything you currently have. Treat this daily tradition as a sacred duty to your future bloodline. Your new life begins in this exact moment, and you must decide if you will be remembered as a man who allowed doubt to define his entire existence, or will you look fear directly in the face? I want you to leave your absolute vow in the comments. Write your definite chief aim clearly for the universe to witness. These will not be just empty words on a digital screen. Let them be the binding contract you permanently sign with your own destiny, and let them serve as a daily reminder of your immense power. You must claim your sovereign power publicly today. Write, "I am the creator," to seal your new identity. Subscribe to this channel if this sacred tradition belongs to you. Join the exclusive ranks of those who absolutely refuse to drift. Share this message with the specific person who is building an empire alongside you, because we are assembling a massive army of sovereign commanders right now. We are taking total dominion over our minds today. We are actively reshaping the physical earth with our vision. The code of the ancestors is now fully installed in your brain. Keep thy heart with all diligence and guard the sacred gate. You must command your high frequency every single day, and you must never again let a negative thought decide your ultimate future. The era of the pathetic drifter is dead. The reign of the true creator has officially begun. You have the ancient tools in your hands today. You possess the biological mechanism to change your entire life. Now you must execute the plan with absolute and ruthless consistency. The universe constantly tests every single man who claims to be a king, but you will not flinch when the massive obstacles arrive tomorrow morning. You will smile because you know the code. Do not wait for a better time to start building. Your massive empire demands your strict attention right now. Go into the absolute silence tonight and purge the weak thoughts. Build the magnificent vision in your mind while the rest of the world sleeps, because the world always steps aside for the man who commands his own focus. Now go out and construct your massive reality.